Okay, so welcome everyone to tonight's call. We are going to be talking about how to run free challenge groups. So let me go into presentation mode. Everyone can still see okay? Okay, see the slides? All right. So basically everybody hopefully watched the webinar with Jatana, right? So she talked about how to run free groups using events. So that's one approach, and that's why I asked you guys to hold off on, starting right away, because some people just watch it and then they want to go do it, because a lot of us have already gone through this process, and events is one way, but you can also run them with groups, and there's different ways of doing things, so she has one way of doing things, with her call to actions and with her events and things like that, which obviously works for her. But then there's other approaches. So I'm gonna talk about more general, and hopefully answer some questions that you guys have. So let's get started. First, why run a free group? And I kind of talked about this already in the group, but the number one reason that you want to run a free group is to help people, and especially for new coaches, this gives you an opportunity to help people right away, right? You don't have to convince somebody to drop, $140 to $205 and join one of your premier challenge groups. Basically, you can have people join your free group. So it's a lot easier for you to get people to join a free group than to join a paid group, okay? And it's going to help you build confidence, right? Because you're going to have people that you're coaching and you're motivating and you're supporting. It'll also help you build trust. So those people may not see you as a coach currently, but after you've been supporting them for 30 days, they're going to learn to trust you. And then at the end, when you recommend, when you do that call to action and then you recommend your premier group, they're hopefully going to want to join your premier group. Because one thing that I found is when I started, I was doing Facebook ads, and I was just promoting my premier group. And I would get 50 people that would fill out an application for my premier group. But then when they found out that it cost money or how much it cost, 99% of them would drop out. So I found the opposite was true when I offered a free group. If I got 50 people that, wanted to join the free group, that, just about all 50 of them would join, right? Because the barrier to entry is so small. Basically, they just need to, fill out a form or click a link and they're in, Now, keeping them engaged is a separate issue that we'll talk about. Because that's very important, is you want to keep people engaged to the end so that it gives you that time to get to know them, to build the trust, and so forth. So anyway, having these free groups will allow you to expand your warm market, because there's so many times that new coaches come in, they'll hit Success Club 5, their first month or maybe their first couple months in a row, and then they run out of their warm market, and then they're like, oh, this isn't for me, and then they just fall off or they quit because they think that they've already exhausted all the possibilities, that they have for coaching in the future. And that's obviously not true, right? I mean, there's so many people out there for you to meet, for you to become friends with, for you to, bring into your warm market, and running these free events will help you to do that. So it'll allow you to gain new friends and followers, and that's one of the main reasons for running this group. So don't think that, hey, I'm running this free group so that I can sell challenge packs. Yes, that's obviously a great thing that could happen, that you could get coaches and you could sell challenge packs, but the number one reason that you're doing it is to get friends, to get followers, and to build that warm market, so those people will start following you. Even if they don't buy a challenge pack, they're still connected with you. They're still your friends. They're still following you. So, you know, maybe by the next group or after watching you for a couple months, they're going to be a lot more interested in what you have to say. Okay. So, you know, but obviously getting new customers and potential coaches and getting people into your premier groups is obviously, you know, a nice advantage to running these free groups. Okay, so what kind of free group do you want to run? So you can run any kind of free group that you want. Okay, people always ask me, you know, like, you know, Greg, what exact group do I need to run? Well, it doesn't matter. It's up to you. You can run fitness challenges. You can run clean eating challenges. You can run 30-day free Beachbody on demand challenges. You can run, you know, couch to 5K. You can run biking, you know, race preps or Tough Mudders, or you can run a group on getting out of debt or whatever you want. I mean, I would say keep it related to fitness and health and fitness, because that's what we do as coaches, and that'll be a lot easier transition getting them into your premier groups. But, you know, just be creative, you know, and do whatever you want to do. So all of these can be successful. So for, you know, when and for how long, I suggest that you do them every single month. And you should end. So when should you do it? So your free group should end at least a week or two before your premier group starts. That way you do the call to action. They have a week to order, right, and to get their stuff in. And it gives you, you know, maybe a week to follow up with everybody individually, to message them, you know, to get all those orders in and stuff. So I recommend that you back it up, you know, so, you know, figure out your schedule, figure out, you know, how many days that you want to run this free group. It can be a 7-day, a 10-day, 14, 21, you know, 30, doesn't matter. Just pick something. I'll tell you that a clean eating, typically you'll see those, you know, most coaches will do those for a 7 or a 10-day. Okay. So those work really well. And we have, hopefully you guys all saw the post that I made today where I shared a Google Drive where we can share and collaborate. There's a lot of documents out there. I know that there's a couple 10-day plans, like with posts for clean eating. So if you want to use one of those documents, go check it out. The posts are already all laid out for you. There's even some fitness posts and some fitness schedules. I know that there's a 21-day schedule and a 30-day schedule out there, but you can just go on to Google Images or Pinterest, and you can Google 30-day fitness challenge or free fitness challenge, and you will find you know, 1.2 million schedules that you can pick from. Okay, that's what I do. And sometimes I mix and match, you know, sometimes I'll say like, I like part of this one and part of this one, and I mix them up, and, you know, the schedule is for 30 days, but I'll cut it down to 21 days, you know. The good thing about the longer free groups is it gives people more time to build that trust, and it gives you more time to build that confidence. So that's the good thing about having, you know, groups that are longer than 7 or 10 days, because 7 or 10 days doesn't give them a lot of time, you know, like for you to get to know them, for them to trust you before you're, you know, offering them the next thing. Okay. But if you have 21 days or 30, then it would work a lot better. Your chances are a lot higher at getting them into something like a paid program. Okay, so how to invite to a free group. Basically, the one way that Jatana does, right, is she creates an event. Now, an event works great, especially on your personal timeline, right, your personal profile. You can go into Facebook and you can say, create event. And you can, then it'll ask you which friends you want to invite. And it'll pop up a little box. You can play with this without actually creating an event. But you can select which friends you want to invite. Now, I suggest not inviting coaches. You know, be selective with your friends, right? Don't just like spam everybody, right? Just, you know, just pick your friends that you think would be interested, okay? Don't pick coaches. And if you want to pick existing customers, like people who have already purchased from you or already doing 21 day, it's totally up to you, you know, 21 day fix or some other program, you know, it's totally up to you if you want to invite them to your free groups. I do that sometimes because it's great to have them in the group too, because they're doing their 21 day fix workout, but they'll also do the free workout, and then they'll post a picture of their Shakeology or whatever, so people get to see it. So it's not me promoting any products, it's them promoting them. So it's kind of nice to have those people in the group. So the nice thing about the event is it shows up on everybody's timeline. When your friends accept the event, their friends see that they've accepted the event. You know, so, I mean, it kind of can go viral, right? Like Jatana says. But another way that you can do it is you can send emails. So if you have an email contact list, like for coaches who have been coaches for a while and you have, you know, built up a customer email list, you can always, I do that. I email all my old customers and I tell them about a free challenge group that I have. And, you know, you'll get some people to re-engage that way. Or if you have other email lists, I mean, don't forget about emails. I collect emails from my website and I'll send them, you know, an email message about it. Okay, so you can post on your personal or like pages. Oh, somebody's unmuted. Let's see. Okay, I think they muted themselves. That's fine. You could create a blog if you have a website, obviously. You can do advertising, which is great for Facebook or for Google. You can do Google AdWords if you have a blog. We're not going to get into Google advertising in this training, but we will touch on Facebook advertising because it's super simple. And if you have a Facebook like page, I'm going to teach you how to do it. And if you don't have a Facebook like page, I'm going to teach you how to make one of those too. So that's coming up. And then the best way, the number one way, is to ask people who join your free event to refer their friends. Okay. So I can tell you, I ran an ad on Facebook and I brought in about, I think, 50 new people into my free challenge group that started Monday. Well, those 50 people, I'm running a points contest, and I'll tell you guys about coming up. But I'm running a points contest, and I told them that they get 5 points for every friend that they invite to the group. So I invited 50 people, but they invited at least 150 people more, okay? So I got about 200 people in my free group now. It's crazy. So, you know, definitely use the refer a friend. Okay, so, you know, here is my challenge that I'm running right now. You can see, like, today's assignment was use PicMonkey. Find a picture that's simple, that, you know, I said put the text on the picture needs to be less than 25%, because if you want to boost it, you can see that I boosted this picture and 8,000 people saw this picture, okay? So I paid to boost it and I target it towards, you know, my market. And basically what I do is I have people go to my blog to register, I collect their email, and then I send them a link to the group. Now, you don't have to do that. Don't worry about that if you don't have a blog. You know, you can simply give them the link to your event or the link to your group, okay? You can come up with a simple picture, you know, come up with a nice little block of text. Don't write a book because people don't want to read, you know, multiple paragraphs. Just keep it simple. You know, give a high level of when it starts and what it's going to be, and are you offering a prize? You can see that I offer a prize, and I'm offering a $25 Amazon gift card at the end for whoever wins the most points. And I just ran this ad for $25, I think. And, you know, it pulled in like 50 people, and I got, it went out to 8,000 people, and I got 100 likes, and I had probably about 50 comments on it. Because I asked people to comment as well as fill out the form, because that way it expands the reach with Facebook. So that's how you post, and you can post this on your personal timeline, or you could post this on a like page. You know, so be thinking about, you know, for your homework today, you were to come up with a picture. And you might also want to design a banner, right, for your group. And that obviously a banner for your event or your group, you can have a lot more writing on it if you know, are not going to pay to promote that particular picture. So how to run a free group. So Jitana already talked about, you know, you can run it right from the event. If you create an event and you give it a start date of, you know, whenever, Monday, it's going to start on Monday, and then it's going to run for 30 days. Make sure you set that end date to 30 days out, or, you know, 10 days out, whenever that end date is. And then that event will stay open for that entire time. Now, the pros about an event, you know, pro and cons, I'll go over. The pros are, it's open to everyone, right? So your friends post, you know, what they had to drink, or they did their workout, or whatever, or they'll see your post because they'll see their friends are commenting on this event, and that'll bring in potentially more people into your event. The con is it's open for everyone to see. So when I originally, my first time, I tried Jitana's way. I created an open public event for everybody, and I started posting in there, and I had 50 people that joined. Well, I found it was like crickets. You know, hardly anybody except my mom and my mother-in-law were posting, you know, or commenting on my pictures, and they weren't even part of it. They just always comment on my posts, right? So they were like the ones that were commenting, and not the people that joined the event. And it's because they know that they're being watched by their friends, and they're not comfortable with it. Okay, now I guess it really depends on your audience, because obviously it worked for Jitana, and she has, you know, young, you know, girls that are like her, and they don't care, you know, if people see them taking selfies of themselves or whatever. So that worked great for her, but for my market, it didn't really work. So the next time I created a group. Okay, now you can always use a group to invite people. No, sorry, an event to invite people, and then you give them the link to the group, just like I do with all my trainings, right? I'll create an event and invite you all to the event and give you information about the event inside the event. But when it's time for the group to start, I'll give you a link to the group, okay? Now, the great thing there is it's a closed group. Just like all of our coach groups and our training groups, it's people can see that you're in a group, but they can't see what you're posting. So you can post selfies, you know, people are a lot more comfortable, okay? And the other great thing about a group is you can reuse that group, and I do that. So it's like I reuse my group, my same group, from free event to free event to free event. Okay, so my groups keep growing. So I started with 50, and then I add 100, and then now I just added like 200, and I've been, you know, running these free groups since January, and my free group is up to 300 or 400 people now, you know. So, and you know, you might get people that keep coming back. Now I know some people will close their groups. I mean, that's cool too. I mean, like I said, there's no right way and no wrong way. I know we had Amber Scott did one of our team calls, and she's like, oh yeah, I shut down the group and I delete everybody, and you know, a day after it's done, it's gone, you know, and that's just her way, right? And it obviously works for her. But for me, I just keep it running. And I know Leah does the same thing with her free groups. So, okay, the con is if you create an event, it's hard to get people to move from that event to the group, you know? And I find that, like, even with my coach training groups, it's like I'll have, you know, 150 people say that they're going, and then I'll post the link to the group, and I'll get 100 people in there. So there's 50 people, you know, even though I've posted the link and posted reminders, there's 50 people who don't come from the event to the group, okay? Well, I don't see that as a big loss, right? Because those 50 people probably weren't going to do anything anyway, right? They were not really going to do your free challenge. You know, if by, you know, some chance they made it into the group, they were probably just going to be lurkers anyway. So I wouldn't worry too much about, you know, not getting everybody into the group. So that's what I do. And, you know, like I said, I don't even use, events are great for, you know, doing them from your personal page and inviting your friends. But once you've done that with all your friends, I don't even use events now at all. I just invite people straight into my group. I'll do a Facebook ad like you saw. I direct them to my blog first, collect their email. But if you don't have that, I would just give them the link right to the group, you know, because, you know, you don't want to be selective. You don't want to have people fill out an application. You don't want them to have to jump through too many steps. You know, I even find that, you know, I can track, you know, how many people I send to my blog. I can track how many people actually give me their email and, you know, how many people join the group. And every step that you make somebody go through, you're going to lose a certain percentage. Okay. So, you know, you can look at it one way of, you know, yeah, it's like a funnel, right? It's like a filter. So by the time that they've gone through those steps, you're down to the committed ones. But if you're just trying to make, you know, friends and get more people to follow you and to expand your warm market, you want to make it as easy as possible for people to get into that free group, you know, or that event. Like Jatana has just an open event. Anybody can come and join. And, you know, she has really no way of knowing how many people are in there or how many people are doing it, unless they send her a friend request, right? And then she can, you know, get to know them better. So, okay, tips for a successful group. Instead of giving them those schedules, like I showed you, you know, you can Google and you can find those schedules. I give them a daily post every single day. And this is an example of a post. And I just take that same picture. So you see a theme here, right? So it's like the same picture that I use for the ad, and I'll change this up every group. I'll use a different picture. So the same picture I use for the ad is the picture I'll use for the daily post. Okay, and it's the same picture that I'll use as the banner for the group and stuff like that, you know. And so, you know, every day, it'll build, right? So it'll start out with, you know, 50 spots. And then by day 10, it's now 105 spots or whatever. So Angela asks, so can you boost an event without a like page? Yes, I believe you can. You can boost posts from your personal page. And I think you can boost events too from your personal page. Although I would not recommend boosting from your personal page. We're going to get into that in a future date in this training, but all Facebook advertising should be done from your like page. And the reason that I say that is because your like page is built for advertising. That's why Facebook created it. It's designed, they design their advertising for your like page because it gives you statistics, allows you to track. Also, if you boost from your timeline, from your personal page, it'll just show up on the right-hand side of Facebook. You always see those ads on the right-hand side, you know, the ones that you never look at. You just train yourself to ignore those ads, right? The ones that show up like right in the middle of your timeline as you're scrolling, those are the ones that come from a like page. So if you, and those are the ones that you pay attention to because you're scrolling and you can't ignore it, right? So those are the only types of ads you want to run. So if you're thinking Facebook advertising, you definitely need to do it from a like page. Okay. So like I said, get a big schedule, find the schedule that you want, you know, if it's 21 day to great abs or whatever, right? And you find the different workouts, but don't post that schedule that you find. You don't want to give a person the whole schedule right in the beginning. Because if you do, they could just take that schedule and they could do it on their own, right? Why do they need to come back to the group? You know, why do they need you? Why do they need support or you know, to do your points contest or anything, right? If they've got that schedule, they'll just go do it. They could, right? So this way, it encourages them to come back. It's like, hey, you know, you've done day 1. If you want to do day 2, you got to come back to the group, you know? And then if they're coming back to the group to see the schedule, they're also going to see the text that you put around the schedule. Okay, so you can use Hootsuite. I use Sendable. Sendable costs $10 a month. Or you could just do it yourself. But I don't get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, you guys might, so you can just post it yourself. So I prefer to use a scheduler. So I use Sendable, and I just schedule all my posts for 6 in the morning, and then I will put text on every single day, right? And I'll give them pointers, right? Or tips or motivation or encouragement, or you know, I may even, well, I do often, you know, not every single day, but many days I'll say, make sure you send me a friend request if you haven't already because of this, this, and this, right? You know, it's, you know, so I give them a benefit to sending me a friend request, right? So that I can contact you if you win the prize, right? So that I can give you, you know, follow-up message if you fall off the wagon, you know? So give them an incentive to send you a friend request, okay? Or a reason to. And I just schedule all those posts out in advance, and, you know, they all go out at 6 in the morning. So more tips. Establish that you are not the expert, okay? That may sound counterintuitive, right? It may sound like, you know, something you may not want to do, but trust me, you are not a fitness expert, and you're not a nutritionist, probably, you know, maybe you are a nutritionist. If you are a nutritionist, or if you are a certified personal trainer and you do have insurance on yourself, then you can ignore what I'm saying, okay? But if you're not, then pay very close attention, because you do not want to set yourself up as an expert, okay? You do not want to give medical advice, okay? You do not want to tell people what they can and cannot eat. I mean, other than general healthy, clean eating, right? It's like, you know, cut back on your carbs, you know, eat more lean proteins, you know, general advice, you know. But if somebody wants individual advice, I get this all the time. You know, it's like, you know, I've had surgery, or, you know, my hip is hurting, or my knee is hurting. Can I do this exercise? Now, we can all give advice, right? We can all say, well, you can modify it, blah, 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 right? You know, I always say, you know, if it's causing you pain, go see a doctor, right? Refer them to a doctor. And if a doctor comes back and says that you can do, you know, some workout and with some modifications, then great. You can give them some modifications or whatever. You can suggest some ways that they can do that. Or, you know, I had a diabetic ask me if they could eat such and such. I said, I do not know. You need to go, you know, talk to a nutritionist or to your doctor, you know. So you want to avoid any of those situations, because this is not a Beachbody program, right? This is a free challenge group that you're running, right? You won't have the Beachbody protection, the umbrella, okay? That legal protection that you have when somebody's doing a Beachbody program, right? So you don't want to give them any reason to, you know, get mad at you, to say that you showed them or you told them to do something that could have, you know, injured them or caused them harm. Okay, so I do not demonstrate proper form. I go find videos on YouTube from, you know, experts, and you can see right there where I'll post the YouTube links, you know, crunches, planks, how to do squats, how to do push-ups, how to do modified push-ups. And I will give them, basically I put all this information in a file and I post to them 2 or 3 times. Go look at this file, okay? You know, it's like, you know, maybe I'll do it on day 1, and then I'll do it again on day 3, and then again on day 5, just to remind them, go look at this file for proper form. You can see I also give them a link to the daily tracker there, which I'll talk about more in a minute. But you can't necessarily read it, but I also say, I also want to point out that although I do exercise on a regular basis, I am not an expert. I host these challenges to motivate not only my friends and, well, to motivate, not only motivate myself, but my friends and my family. If any of these exercises are causing you pain or discomfort, then I would suggest that you consult a doctor. Okay, so basically, again, I'm reiterating to them to talk to their doctor, you know, if any problems. So that's just a word of warning. I've never heard of anybody ever suing, you know, a coach over a free group, but I just want to, you know, put it out there that, you know, we want to be careful, right? And we don't want to set ourselves up as an expert and get ourselves into trouble. Okay, so tips, more tips for a successful group. Now we want to get into engagement, right? How to keep people engaged. And what I do is I run a points contest, like I was telling you about. And I pin this post to the top of my group. And basically it has a picture and it tells them that what they get points for. Okay, it's like they get 1 point for a workout and, you know, drinking water and, you know, getting 8 hours sleep, and they get whatever 3 points for a motivational post and a encouraging another person, and whatever 2 points, 3 points, you know. So basically they get more points for posting like a sweaty picture or a healthy meal than they get for actually doing the workout, because a picture gets a lot more engagement in the group, right? If they post a picture of what they ate, then, you know, 10 or 12 other people are going to comment on that picture. If they just said, done, I did the workout, no one's going to comment, right? It's not going to get that engagement. So by offering a nice little prize, like a $25 Amazon gift card and this points contest, I get tons of engagement, okay? And because I'm lazy and I don't want to figure out how many points this person had each day, right? And I'm not going to go and count, did they encourage somebody? Did they post a sweaty picture? I have them fill out a Google form, and that automatically tracks the points for me on a daily basis, because all their responses go into a spreadsheet. And then at the end of the contest, I can just go into that spreadsheet, I can sort it by their name, and it'll automatically sum up the points for me, and I can see how many points they got. Don't worry if you don't know how to do Google Forms, because again, it's coming up in a future day of this training where I'm going to show you exactly how to create a Google Forms and how to set up a points contest if you want to do it. Okay? If you'll find that a lot of people don't bother clicking it. Maybe they don't care about a points contest. That's fine. But they still, you know, post the pictures just like everybody else, because they see everybody else posting the pictures. And so they want to do it too, you know? So I still recommend doing it. And like what we do in our Premier group, just to let you know, is like we have, you know, we post, you know, like points contests, and we tell people to, you know, post their pictures and stuff. But then we just pick one person at random who looks like they were like, you know, the most, that look like they got the most points, you know. So, I mean, you could do it that way too. So it's totally up to you how you want to run it. You can pick somebody at random who looks like they are doing the most, or you can, you know, do the forms, which I'll show you how to do later. This is the form. If you actually click on that link, it'll take you into a Google form, and you can see that you'll have images in the form, and it'll ask them to put their name, and it'll automatically put the date, and basically it'll ask them the same questions. Did you do the workout today? And they would select, see it has a 1 and a 0. So basically, and I give a little note there that says 1 equals yes and 0 equals no. So basically they would select 1, you know, and then if it was a 3-point question, it would have a 3 and a 0. And that's how it automatically sums for me when it goes into the spreadsheet. So I don't have to figure out, oh, this question that they answered yes for was 3 points, you know, it automatically figures it out. So It's kind of a nifty way that I came up with. Okay, more success tips. Give people icebreakers. So this is, you probably have done this in your challenge groups that you're in, but also do it in your free groups. I have people introduce themselves and post a picture of with their favorite pet, or you can have them post a picture of their family, just something to get everybody, to break the ice and get to know each other. And on that very first post, I'll have, hundreds of people that are posting pictures of their dog and their cat and whatever, but it makes them feel a lot more comfortable, and that's what you want to do. Make sure you ask engaging questions, right? These are just standard tips for any challenge group, but they apply to free groups as well. So, it's like a lot of the text that I will put above those daily pictures is I'll ask them questions, and I'll get them, and then they'll put their responses below, they'll comment on the picture, and then I can go back and follow up with them. You can ask them questions like, hey, has anybody, ever done a Beachbody program before? You can ask them questions for whatever, but one word of caution is don't sell to them, don't request anything of them. Don't say, I need you to go fill out, a Beachbody account, a free account. Don't ask them to become a customer. Don't request anything of them. You can ask them questions, and it's okay to show them that you're doing other workouts. Like you can talk about your 21-day Fix Extreme workout or whatever. That's totally cool. Talk about those in the groups, post pictures of yourself, just like you do in your challenge group. Show them that you're drinking Shakeology. Talk about that. I do that all the time. That way, they'll naturally want to ask questions. And it really helps if you have other people in the group who are doing it other than you, because then they'll really get curious and ask questions. So, create videos. It's like you want people to trust you, right? So the more they can see you, the more that they can hear you, the more they're going to trust you, right? So, I talked about that yesterday in the post, and I shared, social media tips with you guys, Facebook tips. Like number one is your Facebook profile picture, right? If people can't see your smiling face, they're not going to trust you, in that profile picture. And if you're in that profile picture with, your husband or some other girls, how do they know which one is you, And, even if you're in there with your husband, that means that your picture is so small that they can't really even see you, right? So think about that, make yourself open, right? Share your story with people. Don't keep yourself closed off. It's totally cool. I do this in my free group is I share my story and I talk about, it's like I started with P90X and I lost 40 pounds and I got off blood pressure medicine, and you can talk about that, right? And then you ask people to open up and share their story. Like, what are they looking to, why are they looking to lose weight? Why are they looking to, why are they doing this group, right? The more you can get them to open up, the more you're going to build that connection with people. Okay, make sure, you just can't schedule your post at 6 a.m. and then go, okay, I'm done, and forget about the group. You need to comment on their posts every day. Now, and most of you are saying like, duh, right? No, but it's keeping, by you commenting and you asking questions. Don't always just say like, oh, great job, good job, or, oh, that looks good, ask them questions like, hey, what exactly are you eating there? It's like, oh, I've never tried that. Where have you got it? If you can like, have like a little conversation going, then, they get to know you and get more comfortable with you. And then lastly, don't be afraid to send private messages. I send private messages to all the people that are like dedicated and going through like once a week, typically on the weekend when you have more time, like your follow-ups, right? Send private messages to people. And, it's okay to send the same message, like write a little script, it's like if they're doing it every day, cut and paste and private message every single person and say, hey, Jill, thanks for being committed to this, free group. How's it going for you so far? Are you finding any problems? Are you sore? Is there anything I can help you with? Just write out a simple little paragraph and send it to every single person, a positive one and a negative one. And by negative, I mean like the person's dropped off and you haven't seen them. So give them a different paragraph and say, hey, thanks for joining my free challenge group. But I noticed I haven't seen you posting in a couple days. Is everything okay? Are you still on track? Are you still, doing the exercises? And typically they'll come back and say, no, I've fallen off, blah, blah, blah. But it opens up that dialogue, okay? So that's key. Okay, call to action. This, for me, is always around the first of the month, okay? So, if you look at me and you can see, okay, that I hit Success Club always in the first of the month, that's because I always do my call to action the first of the month, right? And I always am getting my people lined up because I don't want to wait until the end of the month to try to get my points for Success Club. I always, I schedule it so my premier group starts on the second or third week, right, of the month. And so that first of the month is when I'm always doing my call to action. Now, what is your call to action? Basically, this is an example of one. You can do whatever you want, but basically what I'm doing in this post here is I'm promoting the value of my premier group. I'm telling them that, what is my premier group? It's like, hey, I'm starting it on this date, which is 10 days from now, right? And it's 10 times better than this group, right? People get 10 times the results that they see in this group. There are weekly prizes where this group only has a 1 monthly prize, right? You'll get tips and advice and recipes from not only myself, but my whole team of coaches that are in this group. So now people are like, wow, yeah, that sounds a lot better, right? And then I tell them, all you have to do is purchase a Beachbody program from me, right? And, my favorite Shakeology weight loss, or my favorite shake to go along with it. And I will get you in the group. And that's like an example of a call to action, right? Now, even if no one responds to this that says that they're interested, a lot of people, they'll just be like, no one responded. It was a total failure. Well, no, because then what I do is I private message every single person who made it to the end. So now I have like 200 people in my group, right? Not that many people, maybe 20 or 30 will probably, make it all the way to the end of the challenge and stay active every single day. Well, those 20 or 30 people are the ones that are most likely wanting to move on. So you just send them a private message and say, hey, congratulations, Sue, for making it to the end, right? You did an amazing job. You got great results, or hopefully some results, right? However you want to word it. And you just say, hey, what are you thinking about doing for your next round? Or what are you thinking about doing in the future so that you keep progressing in your fitness? And, and then I ask them the question, would you be interested in joining my premier group? Because I think you would be great for it, right? If you say something like that, make it sound a lot better than I just did, then you're going to get a lot better response, right? So you might not have people that comment on your call to action, but they're going to respond to that private message, okay? Guarantee it. And that's when you're going to get in the conversation with them. So then you got two choices. If they said, well, yeah, I'd like more information on it, you could say, are you available for a phone conversation? Because if you can get somebody on the phone, I don't know what the percentage is, but you're probably 80% more likely to talk them into what you want them to do, whether it's become a coach or get a challenge pack or whatever, than by you private messaging them back and forth, you know, because they're going to ask questions and you're going to have to type answers, and they're not going to, you know, get the enthusiasm and everything out of your voice. So if you can get a person on the phone, that is the best way to do it. If not, you can, you know, go back and forth over private message, and, you know, you can give them information. You know, the number one thing that they're going to ask you is like, well, how much does it cost, right? And, you know, never, like everybody that you've heard, you know, never just say, oh, it costs $160 or, you know, whatever. You know, you got to say, well, it depends on the program that you want to get. And typically what I will do is I will recommend programs for them. You know, it's like, if they're a girl, you know, most girls will like 21 Day Fix, right? Or 21 Day Fix Extreme. If they're a guy, you know, they might like 21 Day as well, but they might also be interested in like P90X or Insanity or something like that. So, you know, I typically, what I'll do is I'll give them like 3 YouTube videos to pick from. You know, I'm like, here's 3 which I think you might like. And they'll watch them and they'll pick one. And I'm like, great, you know, that's a great one. And if one is on sale, that's a good one, definitely give them the one that's on sale, you know, to pick from. Like Pio, for example, this month, Pio's on sale, right? So, so then before you tell them, okay, let's say they pick 21 Day Fix. So that one's $160, right? So before you tell them the price, make sure you reiterate the value of a challenge pack. And you tell them, okay, in this, you're going to get a challenge pack. And what it includes is it includes the workout program. You're getting the workout program guide along with that. You're going to get the nutrition plan. You're going to get the meal guide. You're going to get the containers for your food, for your portion control. You're going to get a Shakeology bottle. You're going to get an extra DVD. You're going to get, you know, free shipping or $2, you know, shipping or whatever. And if you ever decide you're ready to, you know, want to be a coach, you get to become a coach for free. You get all this in one bundle, and then you give them the link. Okay. And so that's what I do. And then if they come back with price objections at that point, then, you know, you can handle them from there. So hopefully the call to action is good. Okay, Angela asked, they fill out the form every day. Yes, they fill out the form every day for the daily tracker. And basically, I just tell them, you can give them the link in every single post if you want, but I just pin it to the top and I remind them, you know, make sure you're clicking and filling out the form every single day. So that's it. Okay, follow up on the call to action. I think we already talked about this. Have YouTube videos. Yep, we already covered all that. So that was it. Does anybody have questions? You can take yourself off of mute.
What all kind of prizes do you give for your free group? Is it always just a Amazon gift card, or do you give them choices, or do you want to make it something Beachbody specific?
This is the first time I'm doing an Amazon gift card. I have done Beachbody specific prizes like shaker bottles and things like that, or maybe like a cheap workout program. Like I think you can do, what is it? Like hip hop abs for $20 or something like that. So you could do that. A lot of times I'll just do $25 cash. And the great thing about that is it's like the person that wins that $25 or whatever, you can say, you know, you can recommend that they get a challenge pack with it, you know, and it's like, for example, you know, Pio's on sale. And if you already talked to them about Pio, you could say, hey, now that you won the $25 and Pio's is on sale for $140. And if you apply that $25, now you're getting it for $115 or whatever, right? So you're getting a whole, you know, month supply of Shakeology and Pio for $115. Isn't that an awesome deal? You know, and a lot of times they'll say, yeah, that's a great idea. I even had one girl that said, well, no, I still can't afford it. She said, you just hold on to that $25 and I'm going to win next month's prize as well. And then I'll have $50 and then I'll buy the challenge pack. And it was actually KP, and she became a coach as well. So she took the $50 that she won both times. She knew she was going to win it. And so she won the $50 and she got a challenge pack and signed up as a coach. So it worked out really well. So other questions?
What about 3 coaches coming together to do a free group?
I would not recommend that because, like I said, a free group there's no barrier to entry, right? So everybody can, people are referring people, right? Friends are referring friends. You don't know where people are coming from. So at the end, when you do a call to action, well, how did that person get here? Did it get from this friend to this friend to that friend? And was she connected to me, or was she connected to Coach A or Coach B, right? Also, then your people aren't connecting just with you. Now they're connecting with, Coach A, B, and C. What if they connect with Coach C better? Well, then they're going to go to them, right? So I don't recommend it. So you want to build that confidence with yourself, right? And you want to build that trust with them, right? So running a free group by yourself is going to help you do that. Now, obviously there's no right or wrong. I know that there are coaches out there that run free groups together and they figure out how to make it work. But, my 2 cents is run them on your own. Anything else?
You like more engagement. Yep. You like more engagement in the free group, kind of like our closed group for general, rather than just having people post they're done and just be a participant.
Yes. Yeah.
You get better results.
Yes, definitely.
You get better results.
Yeah, because in a group, you know how you can set it up that people can only comment and you can only post stuff as an admin. Well, I don't like that because you don't get as good of engagement. So I like people to post pictures, and I like people to see, you just like when you scroll through the news feed, you should just see, or the group feed, you should just see lots of people posting pictures and selfies and food, and I think you get a lot better engagement that way. The downside is what's that?
Go ahead.
The downside is that daily posts can get lost. What you can do is then pin the daily post to the top, but since I have my points contest pinned to the top, that kind of hinders me. But you can always put like the points contest in a file that people can always go to, and then you can pin the daily post to the top. So that's just another way to do it.
Okay, and then you allow the people in the group to go ahead and, do they go ahead and invite somebody?
Yes.
Or do they have to contact you to get added?
No, they just invite people. I had one girl invite 63 of her friends in one day, like all 63. She just added them all to the group. I had to go and I had to approve them all. And I sent her a message and I'm like, make sure you ask people, before you add them to the group, because I don't want people, getting mad. And she's like, oh, don't worry. They'll all love it,
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else?
Is this going to be on YouTube?
Yes, I am recording it so I can upload it to YouTube and post it for the rest of the group.
Greg, this is Jill. Are you going to post the PowerPoint as well?
I can do that too.
Okay, I just got kicked out on missed a little bit. I just
Jason, you're breaking up. I can't understand you. But yes, I will upload the slides to the Google Drive, and they'll be there for anybody to see.
Hey, Greg, this is Linda. My problem is getting people to my Facebook page. How would you say I should attract people to it so that I can get more traffic to get them engaged and into a group, hopefully?
You're talking your personal Facebook page or your like page?
My like page.
Oh, that pretty much you're gonna have to pay. You're gonna have to pay. Yeah.
Well,
You can invite your friends, but the only way that I get people is I pay for it. And I'm going to go over how to do that in a future day. You don't have to pay a lot. You could pay $10 and you can get, people that you don't know will be joining your free challenge. And that's what you want,
That's what I want, yeah. Okay,
And
and
what
we'll go into that at another time then.
Yeah, we'll go over that another time. But what you want to be thinking about is, you probably heard this before, but what is your brand? Who is your target market? You got to think about that. What are their interests? Are you looking for people like you? What are your interests? Because when you set up your Facebook ad, you're going to have to specify, I'm looking for people who are 45 to 65, and I'm looking for people that like to shop at Ann Taylor, and I'm looking for people who like to watch Oprah, and you specify your market, and then you're going to get people that are like you, right? And you're not getting some, who knows that, you're not going to connect with, and they're not going to want to join your challenge.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm looking forward to your information then when you're going to have it, so
Sure.
that would be helpful. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, guys. Well, that'll wrap it up, and I will upload it and post it later tonight.
Thanks, Greg.
Yep.
Thanks, Greg. Have a good night.
Have a good night.